Okay, so on this question, in fact, actually, I'm going to change this. What if they gave me the square root of, so I want to make it more interesting, 6/15. So let's just get rid of that one. Square root of 6/15. How would I simplify that? Well, the first thing you would do is you'd say, well, you can divide these both by 3, right? And that's a good first step. And what would that give us? That would give us the square root of, in fact, let me back this up. Let me make it 2 square roots. It's easier that way. And we've got 2, and we've got. You can make it. It's the same thing. Having 2 square roots or 1 big square root over the whole fraction. It's all the same thing. It doesn't matter. If you, in fact, maybe I'm confusing you by doing that. If you want to leave it the big old square root of 2/5, that's totally fine. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter at all. Okay, now, are we done here? I mean, that's as far as we can do it. Well, no. Here's the new rule. This is brand new, and here's the rule. The rule they're going to make us follow is you cannot leave a root in the denominator. It's okay in the top, but not in the bottom. Now, honestly, there used to be a reason for that. It doesn't actually exist anymore, but whatever. It's just, for now, it's just good practice. So they're going to ask us from now on, and this is going to be in any other math course you take as well, that they do not want square roots in the denominator. We cannot leave roots in the denominator. So they're okay in the top, just not in the bottom. So we can't, because this root right now is over the entire fraction, which means really it's in the top and it's in the bottom. You could even write it that way. So, right, this actually equals, this is the same thing as saying square root 2 and 5, and we don't want that square root in the bottom. Does that make sense? We're fine with the one in the top. We do not want a square root in the denominator. So, okay, so what do you do about it? What you do instead, multiply by root over root. So I'm going to go times, and I'm going to go square root of 5 over 5. So whatever's in the denom, the same thing over top. So I'm doing the same thing to the top and the bottom, right? You see that I'm multiplying the top by square root of 5 and the bottom by square root of 5. So nothing's going to change, right? As long as you do the same thing to the top and the bottom of a fraction, it's not going to be different. It'll look different, but it's going to be the same value that it was before. How do you know? Because this is a big fancy 1, isn't it? We're essentially multiplying by a big fancy 1. When you multiply by 1, values don't change. It might look different, but it won't be a different value. I'm multiplying the top and the bottom by square root of 5. Okay, so what becomes of it? Well, on the top, it's going to be 2 times 5, square root of 10. On the bottom, 5 times 5, square root of 25. Now, why we like that is because on the bottom, that's plain 5, no more root. And that was our goal. Remember, get rid of the root from the bottom. It was like that. And we're done. There is our final answer. Put a box around it. Wrap it up. It's done. What did we do? We got rid of the root from the bottom. You see that? No more root in the denominator. You see that there? We got rid of the root. There's not a root in the bottom anymore. So how did we do that? Well, how did that work? Well, we multiplied the denominator and the top by the same thing. So that made it root 25, which is plain 5. We still have a root in the top, and that's fine. We just got rid of We got rid of the root from the bottom. There's no longer root in the bottom because the square root of 25 can do a root. You can't root 10. So that root just stays on the top. But you can root 25. It does that, and then it vanishes. Remember, whenever a square root roots something, it does its job and it leaves. So square root of 25 is 5. And so there's our answer. What did we do? We got rid of the root from the denominator. So first step, divided top and bottom by 3. Got to here, said, oh, can't leave it that way because that means a root on the top and the bottom. So you multiply top and bottom by that same root, which doesn't change the value, will only make it look different. I call it plastic surgery to help people think about it. We're removing the wrinkles. We're giving it a different look, but it's the same person. It's the same value it was, right? We're just making it look different. What look? Wrinkle-free? No more roots in the denominator. That's the look we're trying to give it. We don't want it to show a square root in the denominator. And the way to do that is multiply top and bottom by whatever is in the denominator. That way on the bottom, the root will vanish and you haven't changed the value because you've done the same thing top and bottom. And so there we go.